and welcome. I don't know if you can see Barber here. I just gave them their salads. They got watermelon, so they're pretty happy. I don't think he ever had it before because he seemed kind of dubious about it. And Hopper straight up rejected it, which I thought she liked watermelon, but I guess not. But yeah, so today we're just going to be talking about... Hi. Here's my cat. I'm sure you can see her tail. Today we're just going to be talking about my future rat plans. And I did this video like 9 months ago-ish. So why am I doing it again? And it's because, well, to be perfectly honest, things are going to look very different for my mischiefs very soon. So I'm going to start with like a little bit of a ratty update, and then we'll move on to the actual rat plans. And the reason things are going to look very different very soon is of my 20 rats, there's 22 rats in the house, and all but 7 of them are seniors, which means 13 of my rats and both of Cappy's rats are seniors. So basically there's Ducky and Dorothy, who are 2 years and 9 months old now, and they are, you know, they're doing okay. Ducky, they both have a little bit of HLD. It's nothing severe. Ducky also has this weird thing going on. I thought it was a UTI. I'm not 100% sure now because when she urinates and there's blood in it, it looks almost like the blood is more solid than the urine, which could mean that there's something in her bladder trying to come out, like bladder stones, which rats can get. And at her age, if it is bladder stones, I can't really do anything about it. Even if she were younger, it would take a very specialized vet in order to be able to open up her bladder and remove something like that. So, you know, I have cats rubbing up on this, Dex. I have seen other people who manage to do that, but again, it's like a very specialized thing. And the chances of being able to find a vet that can do that are very slim. So basically, if it is bladder stones, all I can really do is keep her comfortable. She's on antibiotics and painkillers, both of which seem to reduce the amount of blood I'm seeing in her urine. So it could be something like that. It could be inflammation. It could be something called cystitis, which cats get a lot. It could be bladder stones. There's a lot of things it could be. So basically, I'm just kind of maintaining her. I did talk to a vet about all of this, and basically, even if they could get an x-ray, it wouldn't be conclusive. So we're just rolling with it. And then there's Dorothy, who is, you know, she's pretty healthy. She did have a little bit of a health scare where she was kind of like lethargic, cold to the touch. She came out of nowhere. So I put her on antibiotics and she perked back up and she's back to her normal self. And so basically what it is with the two of them is their birthday is in 3 months and they'll be 3 years old. I don't think Ducky will be around, unfortunately, to celebrate, but Dorothy might just eke over the 3-month mark, but I don't currently think she'll surpass Humdrum, who is my current oldest living rat, who she made it to 3 years and 2 months, and she passed away in August. Now, keeping in mind, I have the Dwarves, so there is a good chance that eventually I will have a rat that does happily sail over the 3-year mark. I hope. We can hope. Now, past them, we have my granny girls, which are in this cage, my granny gang. And, you know, they're in varying degrees of health. So there's Warren, who has chronic respiratory problems, which I mentioned a couple times for sure. She's on permanent medication, and it helps her pretty well, but she can very easily get worse even on the medication. So, for example, earlier this week she started making respiratory noises. I believe she has stopped. I haven't heard any today at any rate, but she does make respiratory noises still. And sometimes her breathing's worse, sometimes it's better. If she's not on the medication, it does steadily decline. She has a good quality of life still, I feel. Do I think she's going to continue having that quality of life on the medication? No. I think she will start to decline again, and I can up the dosage, I can increase the meds, I can add more antibiotics. But she is 2 years and 1 month old. Everyone in this cage is about 2 years and 1 month old as of this recording. And, you know, I'm hoping to get another couple months at most with Warren. At this point, she could go at any moment, or I could need to take her in at any moment. And I'm just trying to make sure that her last few weeks or months are good. And that's just kind of where I'm at with her. And then there's Hex, who also has chronic respiratory problems. She's much better than Warren. I think she might eventually get to the place where Warren is. But with her, she does not get lethargic. She does not get respiratory noises. She breathes a little heavily and occasionally needs to be put on medication, but it's not at a point where she needs to go on permanent medication or where I think that she might not be around for very long. Keeping in mind they're all over 2, and that is ancient for rats. Rats do not live, like, I know the pet store says, oh, they can live 3 to 5 years. They can live 3 years. They're not going to get much past that. Even dwarf rats don't live 5 years. And they're definitely not going to get to 7 years. That is a false statement. I do believe some people just misremember. I have witnessed people misremembering how long they've had rats. But yeah, they do not make it much past 3, typically. Now, there's Orville in this cage as well, and Orvie has a tumor. She developed a new tumor. It's on her side. It's in a pretty good place where it's not going to limit mobility very soon, but I'm opting not to get it removed because of all the complications I'm still dealing with from her last surgery and the fact that it popped up so quickly. So from her last surgery, she's still getting abscesses, and it was only about, I think, 6 weeks ago. So for this tumor to pop up and be the size that it currently is tells me that she will just develop another one if I try to get this one removed. And given her age, I just do not see the benefit of doing that. I am instead going to give her a nice, comfy, happy life. She's right here. Hi. A nice, comfy, happy life. She's one of those rats that never slow down. And, you know, just keep her happy. And then we have Fifey, who seems to be okay. She does have a bump next to her urethra, but that could be an abscess. She's gotten abscesses there before during fights because Fifey causes fights. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. And then there's Hopper, who developed respiratory issues after her last surgery. So she's kind of where Hex is, where I'm not too worried about her. I'm just monitoring her and putting her on medication as needed. And then the other girl in this cage is Honey, and Honey is, as of right now, a tank. Nothing's ever gone wrong with Honey. She's gotten mites like once or twice. That's it. So, like, again, at her age, things could go wrong very quickly, but she's good otherwise. And then in that cage, we have the Weather Girls, who all seem to be doing pretty good. They are 1 year and 11 months old now. And yeah, they're doing pretty good. They are all spayed, so hopefully they won't get any tumors and they'll continue to just do well. But again, at their age, things go wrong. Tumors are just one of the many things that rats can get, so just keep that in mind. Mammary tumors, I mean. And then we have my boys, Fitz and Ezra, who are now 1 year and 9 months old, which are seniors. Boys, I've noticed, tend to age a little bit quicker than girls. They are slowing down for sure, but they still look pretty good. Ezra does have something on his stomach. It could be an abscess. It could be a tumor. I will get it removed if it's a tumor because he's, you know, he's pretty healthy. He needs to lose some weight before I do that, so he's on a diet, which none of us like, but, you know, that's how that is. So, with all that covered, and then there's the young ones, which are Baker and Barber, the 3 girls, and the 2 dwarfs. And all of them are fine. Nothing wrong, nothing to report. And then there's Grant and Lockley, who are Cappy's rats. And they seem to be doing okay. Again, Grant might have a new tumor on her tummy. It's been about 8 or 9 months since her surgery. And for it to have taken that long to develop a new tumor is pretty common. So this was a bit of a confusing statement on my part, and I just wanted to clarify. When Grant had her surgery, she got her tumor removed and spayed. When you get a rat spayed, it helps them to not develop new tumors, but in my experience, they do still develop tumors. From the ones that I have gotten tumors removed and spayed at the same time, it's taken about 7 months for them to develop a new tumor. So Grant to have gone about 8-9 months before developing a new tumor after a spay is about what I would expect. We're just going to monitor it, and hopefully it grows pretty slowly. They do tend to grow slower after a spay, and she's still losing weight, so in a healthy way. So that's good. And then Lockley is just Lockley. She's solid. But yeah, so with all that out of the way, what does that mean for the future? So in June, it's currently the beginning of May, in June, I am planning on doing intros with the boys to one of these groups. And the reason it's one of these groups and not definitive is because if I lose someone in this group, like Warren or Orville, I will intro the boys into this group because I think it'll be easier, to be honest. But if everyone in here is still around, I will intro them with the weather girls again. Because they do need friends and they're a little calmer, and I think I can do it. I think I can do it, even though they're pains in the butt. Which will free up this cage. So the dwarfs will go into here. And then after that, as this cage dwindles down or that cage dwindles down, I'll combine them. So basically, depending on where the boys go, whichever mischief is left, as they start to pass away, I will move them. Once they're down to 2 to 3 rats in the group, I will do intros with whoever's left, and they'll all go into a double critter nation. And then the dwarfs will move into a double. And I am planning on getting more dwarfs. So basically, once the dwarfs are in here in August, that's the earliest I'm looking to get new rats, depending on how many of mine are currently still with me. The earliest is August. And provided the dwarfs are in here, I am planning to get 2 to 3 more dwarf girls. And obviously I'll intro them all together, and 5 dwarfs can live quite comfortably in this cage. Dwarfs are really tiny. So they'll go into here, and then eventually, once I have a double available, they'll go into the double, and I'll keep a rolling dwarf group. Now, for my standard rats, my plan's kind of the same as what I mentioned when I got the dwarfs, which is I would like mostly rescue standard rats. So once the boys and the girls, like once they're combined, as the girls start to pass away, I will go and get more neutered boys, and I'll have a group of neutered boys, hopefully. There's a caveat, there's an asterisk, I'll get to it. And then for the cage that's out in the living room, that will be my girl group. So as they start to pass away, I will go get some rescue girls, and I'll have a rolling group of standard females, neutered males, and dwarfs. Now, the dwarfs have to come from a breeder because dwarfs just do not pop up in rescue very often. I have seen it. Pretty much every rescue I know of has gotten at least one dwarf. Even one of the ones near me has a hairless dwarf. So I have seen it, but it is so unreliable that I'm not going to assume that they're going to get dwarfs that I can then take. I'm certainly not going to assume that they're going to get female dwarfs that I can take. So if female dwarfs pop up, I'd happily take them in, but typically the rescues around here are very nervous because there's a lot of really bad breeders around me who would take a rescued female dwarf and breed her regardless of her background or age. So they're very cautious. So the other 2 groups I would like to get from a rescue. So both the rescues near me often have neutered males, and one of them often has spayed females, which would be ideal, but I do not think the other one does. And the unfortunate bit of that is that the one that often has spayed females is currently on hiatus, possibly permanently closed. So they've been in rescue for a long time, and they just kind of got worn down with it, which is understandable. It's unfortunate for me. There's the one I got the boys from. What are you doing? She's very mad. They're the one I got the boys from, and if they come back, then I'll rescue through them because I really like them. I think they're amazing. But if they don't, I understand, and hopefully I'll be able to find another option. The other rescue I have not adopted from, and I have been rejected by a rescue just because of the number of rats I have. So it makes it a little bit more complicated because I haven't talked to them or anything. They're friendly with the rescue that I did adopt from, so there's a chance that I could use them as a reference, which would, I think, be very beneficial to me. But hopefully when the time comes and I contact them, they are open to seeing my care, the quality of care I have, how much I clearly love my rats, and how on top of their medical issues I always am, and choose to adopt out to me because I do have, I feel, a very good home to offer. And it's unfortunate that some rescues don't see that. I know, I mean, it's their rats. They're allowed to do what they want. I'm not bitter or anything. It's just unfortunate because I do feel like I have a very high quality home. So if that does not work out, if one rescue stays closed and the other rejects me, I'll probably end up taking in more rehomes, at which point I don't know if I'll still do a male group and a female group, because getting neutered males through rehomes is not as reliable as it is getting through a rescue. So what I would probably do then, honestly, is have an older rolling group of females, because I see like 2-year-old females pop up quite a bit around me that need homes. So I would keep a rolling group of older females just as a, you know, a safe place to land basically when they need somewhere to go. And then a group of younger females that might be rehomes. I might get them from the same breeder I get the Dwarfs from, because she does have amazing rats. But I would have to get, if the younger ones, I would like to get spayed, so I can't do like a huge group of females, because it is costly to get them spayed. Even if you go to a cheaper vet, it's still a lot of money. So those are the options I have. So basically, no matter what, I'm hoping to have a rolling group of Dwarfs, a rolling group of neutered males, and a rolling group of females. But my backup option is, again, a rolling group of Dwarfs, a rolling group of older rehomed females, and then a rolling group of younger spayed females. Now there's Cappy. So Cappy's gone back and forth a lot on what she wants to do, but her current plan is to at least take a break from rats after Grant and Lockley go. When one of them has passed on, the other one's going to go into my group in the living room. Hopefully. Hopefully they all get along. I have plenty of rats to try them with. It's just a matter of who they accept, basically. So once one of them has passed on, they'll go into my cage, and then once the other one's passed on, she's going to be taking a break. Cappy loves her rats a lot. It's very hard for her to lose them because she just loves them so much. It hurts her so much. And it's not that it doesn't hurt me, because obviously I adore my rats. I have 20. It's not because I don't adore them. I've had rats for so long, I've gotten used to the pain of losing them, I guess. And I would rather go through the pain of losing them than to not have them. And it's a fine line between that and just it hurting too much. So Cappy's not planning on getting any more, at least for a bit. If she does, she wants dwarf rats, because dwarf rats tend to be a lot healthier. Even male dwarf rats, I know a lot of people want female rats because of the tumor thing, but male dwarfs are also less prone to tumors, and they also tend to live even longer than dwarf females. So it is not uncommon at all for a dwarf male to sail past 3, even past 3.5 sometimes, because they are much, much healthier than standard rats. They are not magical rats that never get sick, keep in mind. They can still get things like Zimbal's gland tumors, pituitary tumors, they can have strokes. They can still get everything standard rats get. It's just less common for them to get tumors. And to be fair, tumors do take out a good majority of rats, in my experience. So, at least I have females, keep that in mind. So, but they're also it's less common for them to get pituitary tumors as well. And I've seen many male rats go from a pituitary tumor. So whether or not she actually does that, or when, it's up in the air, because, you know, there's a lot of factors. And I think it's okay and healthy even for some people to take a break from rats when they need one, because it can just be so brutal keeping rats. And not everyone even wants to come back to it after taking a break. So who knows what she'll decide to do. She's been debating for a bit, and I just keep telling her there's no rush. She doesn't have to decide right now, because it's not like the Dwarfs are going anywhere. So yeah, those are my current rat plans for the future. Hopefully I'll be able to execute plan A, because I do like the idea of plan A. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. All the fun stuff down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!